welcome back, guys. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. It's been a long time.
Far too
But we're
long in the
back.
sing along, goddammit.
Oh, absolutely. But we're back. And ooh, don't ooh, my computer's doing a Harlem Shake. We're back, and we're we're back, and and that's a fact, and we're vibing,
And we're
and
black.
yes, and we're black, and it's Black History Month. Whoop, whoop,
Yeah, woo.
whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all.
And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm
And we're just I'm tired. And we're just excited to be here. We're excited to be filming again. So yeah, now we're back. We're filming again. And we're just going to do a little bit of, just so heads up for this new season, because yes, this is season 2. There's going to be a couple of formatting changes. And as in addition to doing comic book reviews, manga reviews, webtoon reviews, X, Y, and Z, we're also going to be doing some think pieces. We're going to be doing some deconstructions. We're going to hopefully be inviting in some special guests this season. So you guys stay tuned. Stay in the vibe, in the mood, and I don't know where that's going. Maybe it's a Monday night. I'm already.
You went like 90s late night slow jam. I couldn't be there for a second.
I'm
This is where my
sorry.
stuff is. I promise the rest of our episodes aren't gonna go there.
Oh no, they're not.
Nah.
They're not. Maybe. I don't know. We're weird people. But if you are new to Black Koffee Comics, this is your first time listening to a podcast, hello. Definitely take some time to check out our catalog. If you are an OG, welcome back again. We're glad that you're listening in again. As we move right into the episode, like I mentioned, it is Black History Month, and we couldn't come out of February without doing an episode talking about Black people in comics and Black people in like we can't not talk about Black people in sequential art as 1.5 Black people in the chat.
Whoa! I wanted to see if you'd go there. You would.
Nah,
You would, wouldn't
he's
you?
just a little lightly braced. He's light skinned.
That's crazy.
He's
Fine,
all
I'm gonna turn down both of my lights. Hold on, I got you. Bet.
Don't do it. Don't do
Yeah,
it. Don't
now
let
you
the devil
see it.
use
Now
you.
you see it.
Don't
Now you
let
see
the
it.
devil use you.
Uh-huh.
No,
Demon time. Too light.
But
There we go.
there we go. But as two Black comic book creators, two Black comic book consumers, and people who just love nerd stuff, like it would just be criminal if we didn't talk about our favorite Black artists and Black comic books and Black creators in the space. And that's basically what this chat's going to be. We're just going to chit chat about some of our favorite products. Okay, we're gonna chit chat about some.
You just went flat tummy tea on me again. Oh, that ain't gonna happen again.
It's
We're gonna have notes again next time.
We're gonna have notes
We
again.
just missed y'all so much.
We really did.
Life was life
Unscripted
and like
unscripted shows. So.
But
We're
I
not
was
good at
actually
unscripted.
just listening today with I put another friend of mine on to our episodes, and just listening to the first episode, and then I pulled up episode 4. And episode 4,
the infamous,
we were just high off of
4.5.
coffee, just tearing apart into and we had so much coffee in our faces. I don't even know who those people were. We went to a place while we did that review.
The infamous 4.5. We'll have to revisit it.
Yeah,
one day.
I'm gonna have to repost that one.
But let's go on ahead and get into the conversation. I asked you to grab. I'm so sorry. I know you don't like people chewing in your ear, but this Kit Kat is busting.
Yeah, you good.
Busting.
You good. You'll pay for it later. But okay. So what you asked me before
I
was
asked you to pull 6 comics or 6 projects that you really liked, just all time or just recently that we've gone over in the episodes, or just some of your favorites that you've been into. So what are some comics that from Black creators, Black teams that you really enjoy?
One that I absolutely love, like the ones that we got from our recommendations here were like, I'm really glad I got introduced to. For one, Crescent City Monsters, top of my list. Because having a black story, like a 90% black character group lineup or set, and to be respectful to whatever culture you're referencing, and set where it's like it just happens to be that the characters are black and like the culture, but it's not like this is a black comic. It actually had a story, an episode. So that was one like I actively went back for. So that was top pinnacle. You want me to go through all 6, or we just alternate?
Oh no, yeah, we can alternate. Yeah, they will, because I also have Crescent City Monsters on my list too. I mean, I could go on. First off, Dream Fury in general, just like as a company, they produce absolute fucking heat. Crescent City Monsters, like I know it's just 6, but I mean honestly, everything from Dream Fury, Kisha Demon Eater was a fucking it was a masterpiece. I absolutely love Kisha Demon Eater. Villainus, I think it's what it's called, or Shattered. I don't know what the actual title of the book is. On the book I have, it says Shattered Visions, but the Kickstarter campaign said Villainous, so I don't know if it's one or the other. All I know is that book was fucking heat. I read it in I think 20 minutes, and I had to go back and reread it because I read it so fast. Like I was basically eating the book. It was so gosh darn good. But yes, Crescent City Monsters, by far of any like mystical black story I've read in the past, like I don't know, past 5 years, it's gotta be one. It is by far my favorite like mystic black story, and the art. I cannot. Dream Fury. Who's the artist for Dream Fury? I'm not even gonna guess. I'm literally just gonna pull it up. Who is the artist for Dream Fury?
Say, take your time. Get them
the art.
Direct flowers.
Giancarlo Bernal, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm gonna take a pause. I'm gonna go grab the book. Give me a second. Okay, so yeah, I was right. It is Giancarlo Bernal. That man knows how to draw. Gian knows what they're doing. They're amazing. Every time I see, there's just so much detail, so much care taken with the character designing, with the sets, with just like everything. It's so beautifully done. So yeah, Crescent City Monsters definitely on the list. One that I have absolutely been like gushing over the last couple of days. I picked it up when I went to our local comic book shop. Is Wash Day Diaries by Jamila Rouser and Robin Smith. It is. I ain't gonna hold you. There haven't been too many books where I'm just like, this is for the girls. I mean, other people can read it as well. It's definitely not a like specific like no one else can read it. But I mean,
of course.
It's definitely one of those books. Like if you are,
they're not gonna ban you for reading it, but
right. But it's if you're a black woman and you want a book that's really gonna highlight and talk about like your experiences uniquely as a black woman, Wash Day Diaries is that book. And not only is it so like the way it's set up, the way each story is told, the topics that it hits. I personally, when I picked it up, I'm not gonna hold you, I literally just thought it was gonna talk about like I thought it was gonna be almost like a kid's book, how they like talk about each of the different hairstyles each girl goes through. I really thought it was gonna be more like, oh, this is kind of like each step, almost like a collection of art with a very loose story. Was not expecting Wash Day Diaries to be so introspective and to be so deep. And honestly, to be so enjoyable. I got about midway through Wash Day Diaries, and there's a story that happens in like part 2 of the book that literally I had to close it and sticky note it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come back to that because that is that's a little too spicy for me. I'm gonna have to come back. But yeah, it's definitely a good book. I think that even if you're someone who likes girlfriends, if you're someone who likes girlfriends, then this book's really gonna vibe with you. Also, if you're from New York, this book's gonna hit really heavy. I'm not from New York. I'm definitely just from Florida, but the book was really relatable still.
Ooh, next one for me. You can probably guess it. Just from the vibe. It's just Trill Leauge.
Oh,
Trill
yes,
Leauge.
Trill
easily
Leauge.
up there.
Trill Leauge is
Ah,
Trill Leauge is a vibe. Trill Leauge is.
the
I
the
think.
the the presence of it all being in a black world, like you
Mm,
get the references from like what they pull from, but it still was just unapologetically just everything black and nerdish. So cool. Black super friends, same abilities, but it was like these are in our conversation and through our lens to really experience like their side of our version of Superman, and like it's just dope.
yeah,
And one
Trill Leauge
issue did
was.
it.
Oh yeah, Trill Leauge is by far. I just, I there's not enough that can be said about Trill Leauge, and then there's also you can't say too much about Trill Leauge. Like as in like there's you can say literally everything in the world, and there's still more praise that Trill Leauge deserves. Anthony Piper literally put his whole foot in this book. The references, I love them all. The references were hilarious. The if you haven't read it, quick spoilers. Like the first volume when you open it up, there's a Naruto reference in the first couple of like 3 or 4 pages. It's so fucking hilarious. It's absolutely well done. I just the character names are hilarious. Swole Main, One Disha. They're just great.
I
Stuff.
know. It's a
Good
gem.
stuff. It's
It is a
it's a
gem.
true gem, and I'm so happy I got a physical copy. Also, I know that I know that the campaign is over, but Anthony Piper did have a second volume that he was producing as a Kickstarter. I backed it, so eventually I'll get my second issue. Like the man needs to take his time. I guess if I segue for a second, Piper is one of those people that strikes me as like this man is like he's so ambitious. He has so many things that he wants to do, and I feel like he just gets so down on himself because he can't achieve like all of his dreams. Like he talks so
Mm.
passionately about wanting to get like about how long he's been in the comic book industry, like doing art and doing writing, and now finally he's ready to move into transition into animation and film work. But like every time he gets there's like some kind of roadblock or some kind of like there's something that's stopping him, or he feels like he's held back by something else. So it's just like I just wish him the best, and he's one of those creators that it almost feels like I know him. Like I'm just like, bro, like don't stress out, like don't worry about it. We've got you. Like take your time, all that good jazz. So Anthony Piper, if you ever happen to come across this, you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing wonderful, honey. We
You're doing
love
good, kid.
you. You're doing good. We love you. We love you. My next book, Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf. It's not quite a comic book per se. It's more like a graphic novel. It's a very, very small book, but it's probably one of the most interesting books I have ever pulled. It's written and illustrated by Micheline Hess. I hope I'm not butchering her name. You guys know how bad I am with like names.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Michelin. Michelin?
Like the Michelin
Micheline?
Man.
It's Micheline. So Micheline or Micheline?
You hold out hope and you get halfway through the word. You just be like, let's just, yeah. You just jog through it.
It's uh I don't want to be rude and call her Michelle because it's not her name, but like Miss um Miss Hess. Miss Hess has written
Just
and
spending a
illustrated.
minute on saying that. Mitchell and Hess, like the cap.
Yeah, Miss Hess is doing did an amazing job with this topic. I think it's like for a so I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it, because it's definitely like it's her the book is only like $12.99 on her store on her website. It's like a really really affordable book. But it's so well illustrated. It's like it starts off kind of like a period piece. Um, it kind of it tells the tale of like this coven, or I guess it's what is it called? Is it a coven of werewolves, or is it like what's the word for werewolves when they live in kind
A
of like
pack?
a pack? There you go. Coven is for vampires. It talks about a pack of werewolves and like their journey from. Don't shake your head at me. I don't like it. You're judging me, and I don't appreciate it. I'm trying here. Um, I'm trying. It talks about a pack of werewolves and specifically the tales of like one specific werewolf and her tale from like the early, like maybe probably late 17 to early 1800s, all the way into modern day and modern times, and kind of like how she's had to not just deal with her werewolfness, but also her blackness and her womanness. So it's like there's a bit of intersectionality there between her otherness being a fantasy creature, her otherness and being black, and then her otherness and being woman. So it's a really beautiful introspective story, and it's also just a lot. It's a really fun. It's a fun read. Um, Definitely for anyone looking to find something that's not like a traditional comic book, something that's definitely in Black History Month. It's a great grab for someone to
Hmm.
add to their shelves, for sure. Uh, Throwing it back to you. What's your next comic?
Next one, which is I had a lot of fun just like looking at it, let alone like um and it was kind of more in a manga format. So I have Monarchs.
Ah, Monarchs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Monarchs.
It was it
Monarchs
was
is good.
it was one that I actually could see very easily being like a Cartoon Network on the same lineup as Craig of the Creek, right? Just something that's just fun to animate. And I liked just the playfulness of it. Just a strong. We read the volume one. Just a strong kid in this world trying to become this huge like the one of the monarchs, and like this whole battle thing. He was just dope. It wasn't trying to get caught up on trying to complicate a skill or a power. And kid was just strong and a
Oh
really
yeah.
good fighter. And like the little snappiness was just cheesy enough from like his his co-worker, his sidekick. And it was just fun. It was a fun one, like specifically geared for kids,
Oh yeah.
people that were young.
Definitely good enough for for any audience. I think it's definitely I believe it's Joshua Bullock is the creator of Monarchs, are both much like Trill Leauge and Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf, and there's another book that we talked about today that was written and drawn by the same person. I'm trying to think, what else did I pick? Ah, yeah, Love Fighting. Uh, Story and art by Shireen Morishita. Um, it is more akin, instead of like, it's not necessarily manga, it's more manhwa. And if you're not familiar with terms, manhwa is just Korean style manga, but there is definitely like a style difference. For you manga purists out there, compare something like the way My Hero would read or Naruto reads comparable to like the way Solo Leveling reads, the way that the God of High School reads, and what's the other one? The
Oh yeah, that's right. God of High School is manhwa.
Manhwa, yeah. Also Noblesse. That one has like a different read style to it. Um, but Love Fighting is specifically like a romantic comedy. And it
Hmm.
features a black main character. Um, and basically she's biracial, she's half black, half Korean, and she ends up losing her job due to a sexual assault. But not in the way that you think. It's not like a not like she was. I wouldn't say it's not a violent assault. Her coworker smacked her on her butt, and she did not take kindly to that, so she beat the hell out of him, as she should. But
Hmm.
of course, she ended up losing her job. And then in a stroke of luck, she ends up on a Korean TV show where basically she has to pretend to be married to this Korean guy. So it's a very interesting plot, very funny, but I think the vibes between the two main characters are like super super cute. And it's for people who like romance. I think you'll really like it. You have a romance. That you have a romance comic, or yeah, you have a romance thing.
I do. It's just in a digital format, more of a webtoon type, but The End of You. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So glad I forced you to read that.
Oh my gosh. That one is super, super solid. So just to have just to give a little bit of context. Well, actually, you were the one that introduced me to it, so I mean, you can, by all means.
Not you tossing stuff off to me. Okay.
You got all the info. You just don't have the words, but you got the info.
Lord Jesus. Okay, so The End of You, at the time we reviewed it, because we reviewed this on our episode, it was written by somebody. The name of the artist had a different name, but now online they go by Expired Coconut, with 3 T's. Honestly, it doesn't matter what the Expired Coconut's name is or isn't. That's not what's really important. Just so that you can credit the artist, because they write and they illustrate their entire webtoon. But essentially, it is a story about a Haitian woman who, and they all live in Louisiana. Yes, they all live in Louisiana. I believe specifically New Orleans, and it follows like it's some seedy nightclub where it's owned by some weird guy. But at the seedy nightclub, there is this amazing singer, beautiful,
Man,
beautiful singer
God now.
named Clover. At least is her stage name. And she's basically the songbird of the establishment. Everyone really loves her voice. They come from all around to come and hear her sing. But she's not really being treated right by the club, and she's kind of one of those young women. It's still pretty early in the story, so you're not exactly sure why she's there, but you know that she's just one of those people that's too good for the place she's in. And then one night of fate, the local mob boss named Kingpin comes in, and he hears her beautiful voice, and he sees her beautiful self, and just falls madly in love. And from there, it just basically follows their interesting saga of potentially how they fall in love. Maybe, who knows? The story is definitely nowhere near finished. It's a slow burn, not because it's hard to get into, but just because the artist who draws and who writes it, they're currently in college. So of course they're kind of writing. Yeah, they're currently writing in between while they're going to school. So it's difficult for them to keep up with the issues. But right now, they're currently at issue number 20, which is way further than it was when we read it, when I think she was at issue 10. So there's 10 new issues, volumes, chapters, episodes,
Which I will absolutely go back for.
It gets good. You gotta catch up. It gets good.
I definitely do.
It gets good. So good. Could not recommend The End of You enough. That's a good pick. I'm glad I pressured you into reading it.
yeah, because I definitely it's not my genre, not my cup of tea, but it still ended up high up on my list for you guys need to watch or need to read this. It's all you have it on I went on the Webtoons app and to follow it. So it's good.
And lastly on my list, I have Bitterroot, by, who is this by? Let me grab all the names. By David Walker, Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green. Additional credits go to Rico Renzi and Sanford Green, who are the colorist, Clayton Howells for letter and production, Sanford Green and Jeru Wimberly for cover, and Heather Antos, who is the editor. Got to make sure we credit all of the people who work on the project. Bitterroot is in fact a certified hood classic. Honestly, if you've been in the indie scene for any amount of time, you've heard, especially Black indie comics, you've heard someone say Bitterroot, you should be reading Bitterroot. And for the longest time, I could never get my hands on it. It was never at a comic book shop. And every time I would think of oh, I should get it, I could never find it online. One reason or another, I just never took the time to actually like try to get a copy, realistically. And then I was in a comic book shop, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and I guess because of Black History Month, they did a reprint of it, and I got the first issue, and I see why people like it. It is really, really good. It is a period piece from like Jim Crow, Black Codes era America, before Civil Rights Movement, as well as it is a like a gory dark fantasy, and it does both of those things really, really well. Sometimes when you're dealing with like Jim Crow era segregation and fantasy, you end up in a weird space. You end up with some not so good stuff. But Bitterroot, I think, offers new to make enough new cool fantasy stuff to make the fiction work, and enough historical context to make the historical fiction genre like this is a good historical fiction comic. I've only read issue 1, but I'm really eager to get the volume. I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy the volumes. I'm not sure if Bitterroot is still serializing, to be honest. But if it is done serializing, I'm probably just going to go ahead and get the volumes and get the rest of the comic. It's really that good.
Truly same.
Yeah. That's it for me. Do you have any more?
No, those were the most important ones. Oh, Antagonists. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was either gonna say Antagonists or truly Tuskegee Heirs, which
Tuskegee Heirs was good.
Yeah, Tuskegee Heirs was good. I liked how because I'm a huge I was went to school for aerospace engineering, so like space shuttles and planes and stuff is my thing, and I used to be a huge fan of the stories about the Red Tails and the Tuskegee Airmen. So the fact that they put that in and like there are these kids that are being trained, I guess it's in a world where like traveling with planes and in airspace is strictly forbidden, so pilots are kind of like outcasts or whatever unless they're working for the government. Like it's dope watching like this band and group of kids that are like they're doing dope shit. They're flying around, they're uncovering stuff, they're being led by a dude that he's just this dope father figure, and it's beautifully drawn and colored, and it reminds me of stories as a kid, because there are some that are comics where you got to remember that they have to be geared towards kids too. That doesn't make them corny or lame, right? So Monarchs, the one we mentioned before, it's geared to be a family friendly comic. It accounts for younger people. So you're like, now that I'm grown, I need DC level dialogue for kids punching each other in the backyard.
Right.
So Tuskegee Heirs is like more of like the tween age, like 12 to 14, right? There's some cool shiny stuff in there, but it's not overbearing. Like they're kids. It's like a kids next door with a whole bunch of number 5s.
Oh yeah, I think that it's a good. I'm trying to remember. We did a review on it, and I know that our review on it was a little critical. I will say that I don't think it was wrongly critical. I definitely think that I stand by what we said in it. There definitely were some things that the book can work on in general, but I think overall it's still like I would totally recommend Tuskegee Heirs to somebody else, especially like younger readers. Queen Age was a good demographic to pick. Tuskegee Heirs, it is that good. Like it really is that good. It's a lot of fun. Also, Search for Sadiqah. Did you remember that one?
Oh yeah, that was the one between the two. Search for Sadiqah was the one I liked more for the story, but the way that the story met the artwork, Tuskegee Heirs kind of edged out of it. But both of those, there's no bad decision between the two.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I think Search for Sadiqah for me was probably just a little bit more closer to what I would have read as a kid. But there we go. The illustrator and co-writer and is Marcus Williams, and then the writer editor is Greg Burnham. That is who wrote and drew. I believe that's the same thing for both Tuskegee Heirs and for Search for Sadiqah. So there you have those, and then Antagonists is a Godhood Comics publication. Man, Antagonists is. Can you believe that they're on their first paperback volume, like their first trade paperback?
Are they really?
Yeah, they've released 6 issues now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now, and apparently they just linked up with Diamond. It was a Diamond Comics, so who was like a huge major distributor. So now, hopefully, maybe we'll be seeing something like Coliseum of Comics here in Orlando. That'll be really cool.
I sure hope so. Coliseum, the moment I tried looking for Bitterroot, I found the first issue, but it was one of those where it was like, oh, by the way, we have this, where they put they print the stamp of first issue, try it, we guess. It was that old. And it said $1.99, so I paid $2 for Bitterroot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It said, first try, because they did that again for a series that I kind of don't follow anymore, which is called Curse Words. Nothing wrong with the series. Ultimately, it's just then that's in the same universe as another one called 8 Billion Genies. I just remember when they threw it in my subscription box. Like, hey, by the way, we want to see if this works. Like Image will do that. So they print of Bitterroot. I don't even know if that's like maybe worth more because it's one of the first. It's like the trial run, but
definitely
there was no issue 2 or anything. It was just that. So I felt lucky to just get it.
Oh, here is the do not know what I'm trying to say. The writer and creator of Antagonist is Tyler Martin, co-created by Felipe Dunbar. It's edited by Tyler. The cover is by Kalichi. Ooh, that is an African name, last surname, and it has got a lot of W's. I don't wanna.
All right, stop.
Okay. NWAOGWUGWU.
Stop.
I'm not joking. It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh no! Stop it! You're being mean.
Okay.
You got this. It's right here. It's NW. Noir. I'm not doing this. This feels racially motivated. Not in my Black History Month. You will not catch me. Nope. It's Kalichi. I know that's the first name. So Kalichi, you did an amazing job on the cover. Kiri and Jack, great logo art.
You didn't even try. No, she's sorry. She's sorry, Miss.
I'm not trying. That actually sounded good. Noir Google. Yeah, that sounded like that was right. I appreciate that.
He's got to try. It's the effort. If we can say Nietzsche, if we could say Dostoevsky and Schicklbein, and all these others,
then
we can. Yeah,
I thought it was No, I can't say that.
No, it's Dostoevsky. It's 4 syllables. What have you been saying?
It's not giving. Dostoevsky, I guess. It's not giving. None of these names are giving. I don't like it. Names in general. It's not that the people aren't giving.
The people you can relate to. You can relate to the people that are like, my teachers never believed me. They said they wouldn't amount to nothing. But truthfully, it was just that they had to laugh when you had to read out loud. They didn't say you couldn't make it. They said sound it out.
I've never been good at reading aloud. Reading in my head, I'm a fast reader. But you gotta say it.
I don't think you're even a fast reader in your head. I think the words that take more than a millisecond, you're just like, I'll get the gist of it.
I'm hurt. I'm not gonna let you treat me like that. No. We're good
No,
here.
I'm not.
This is
I'm not.
in this black. I'm not gonna let you berate a black woman on my podcast. I
Oh,
am not gonna let you
I wear
belittle a black
glasses. I
woman
can't be raped.
on.
I can be great, but I can't be raped.
I'm not gonna let you
Cochran.
belittle a black woman on my podcast.
No, I
You're
do.
canceled. You're canceled on
Okay,
Twitter.
okay, okay. Say her name. Say her name. Hashtag
Whose
say her
name?
name.
Hashtag say her name. Whose
Kalichi.
name?
Kalichi now Google. No, Google.
Kalichi now Google. I did it, and I did a pretty decent job. I'm proud of myself.
Watch her tag you and be like, close enough.
Interior art by Giacomo Guida and letters
Giacomo.
by Giacomo.
Yeah, he's
I
Giacomo.
can see that. Giacomo Guida and Christian Kolomansky.
Oh, don't be scared now.
I asked what is your name, but
We pick all these
I
comics with so many different and Dave.
it's not honestly, and it's so bad because at first it's just like maybe it's just like maybe it's just like a lot of big names. Nah, I struggle on tiny ones too. Anyone can get this name dysfunction I got going on. But yeah, not to dwell in my pain any longer. That's all the comics that we have to review. It was nice to kind of do like a review and bring in some new stuff to talk about all the stuff we've gone over. Yeah, Black History
Ooh,
Month is...
what in like parting notes? If there were people that we didn't have on the list and we wanted to end with a message or like advice from a consumer standpoint, would there be something to leave behind?
Parting notes. I feel like more comic book shops should have spaces, especially during Black History Month, to feature Black indie artists and POC artists, POC comics. I don't see that there are sections, kind of like I know in bigger stores, of course, you do have the option to kind of search for that, but especially on Black History Month, they're like the month highlighting a specific like demographic of people. That should be the time where I should see their comics at the forefront. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna go and buy my first issues or my continuing issues of whatever comic, but I would have really loved to see like a whole section dedicated to comics of Black artists this month. Like, that would have been really helpful to me, like as someone who consumes a lot of Black indie comics. And I was doing an interview with somebody where they were like, one of the biggest difficulties for specifically like Black indie publishers and Black indie comic book creators is going to be finances and visibility. And of course, if you don't have money, it's hard to get visible because a lot of times you have to pay for visibility. So I really wish that more shops would take the time to do that. And maybe that's something as creators, like I know that at least on my side of Instagram, TikTok, my half of the internet, we're doing a lot of recommendations this month. There's a lot of like community wide, we're doing a lot of recommendations, getting people interested in comics and Black comics this month. But on a larger scale, I'd really love to see that from more people. And I think people shouldn't be scared to say Black comics. Like, it's comics made by Black people.
Yeah,
doesn't mean
stutter, you know. Like, I get that too, where it's like the comics that are Black. I mean, you mean Black Panther? No, there's so much more. There's so much more.
Yeah, there's so much more. Like, I just wish people wouldn't be afraid to say Black comics, like comics created by Black people. Some of them are some like Trill Leauge are definitely, I think, more geared and more dedicated to a Black demographic, but other comics like Crescent City Monsters and Antagonists, that those comics don't have a dedicated audience or don't have a dedicated demographic. Of course, Black people are going to pick them up because we love seeing our representation, but anybody can read any of these comics. So yeah, I think if those would be my parting notes. Don't be afraid of Black comics, and I wish I could see more representation on the shelves of my local comic book shop. What about you?
I think for mine is more geared towards the creators themselves, you know, like just just put it out there. If you listened, like for us that truly appreciate comics, period, when we talk about the Black comics that really caught our eye and did so well to, like, you know, accomplish whatever, we give that same level of energy to the ones that fall short, right? But I appreciate personally all of them on the same, they hold the same caliber and tier in my heart. It's like I can actually see it. I can't judge something that's not there, right? How many times have we still in most comics maybe have one or two characters, like to the point where they're still the quota character, right? So you'll have white, black, queer, trans, right? But it's all jammed into one still.
All
it's
the intersectionality, just
right.
One character.
Everyone
one character
else
has
is
to
normal. This one just so happens I'm vegan and I'm going to my husband and I hate the war. It's like just this one person that's like, let's get out the way. So just to see ones that I can pick apart is already a step. So forget the expectation, and then when you do make it, don't feel the need to force the Black narrative. There were a couple that we reviewed where it's like, okay, I get it, we're Black, but is even your character development based on we gotta make sure they know we're talking about racism here. It doesn't have to be so on the nose that you don't even have a story with a payoff, right? You don't have to. We know about the Emmett Till, we know about but what setting can you put your character in? And if they're going to go through something doesn't make sense, what else can they do? You know, don't feel the need to, if I'm going to get this publishing, I got to go Django. You don't
have to do that.
There was none of the oppression stuff in Trill Leauge, and in the Antagonists there was something relatable. Was it Wandisha? That was not Wandisha.
No, that's
I'm
Trill Leauge. You're talking about Tanya.
The wife. Yeah, Tanya was very upfront having an issue that we had before. We're like, we're working twice as hard, and I've been here for 20 years. But Dave from accounting got in 2 weeks ago, and he got a promotion above me, and it's just enough where it's like, and
don't go all Medea on me. Yeah, like
don't go all But it wasn't so, we're not hiring you because you're Black. It was subtle to somebody that could do something, and is so. You don't feel like they'll never get it unless I'm all loud like this. What story do you want to, what journey do you want to put us on? Don't think about the message so hard that you pull away from your own creative talent. Like, build your world, your messages and lessons, whatever, cool, but just don't get so hung up on that by the time you put it out, it's just heavy. It is. Yeah. There are plenty of heavy comics on my shelf that I'm just like, okay, it looks nice. I supported someone, I guess, but will I go back?
Probably not. Yeah, that's some good advice. Yeah, I like those parting notes. And with that, folks, that is the end of our very first episode of season 2 and our comeback. Thank you guys so much for being loyal supporters and listeners. Even during our hiatus, I was checking out our numbers, and you guys are still, more people are going back and listening, or there are new people coming to listen to the podcast. So that's super refreshing and super encouraging, and I'm really appreciative of you guys' support. Even if there's just one person who listens, thank you, Dad. Even if they, I mean 2 people, thank you, Goop. We appreciate you too. Even if there's just 2 people who listen, we love you from the bottom of our heart. You guys are our biggest fans, our biggest supporters, and you're the reason why we come back to film against our better judgment and a clear hate for each other, like absolute disgust. I hate this person. With that being said, if you want to find us on the interwebs, where can we find you, Mr. Spaceman?
You most certainly can find me the easiest way possible. So if you just type in space Lloyd and the number 8, you can find me on TikTok that way. where you'll see some like accompanying content for it, where I might just do a quick, does this suck? Probably, but on Twitch, where I have my hand in several things, doing campaigns for D&D and just streaming and just being as unapologetically Black as ever. You also can find me on YouTube at Space Case Camp, but IG and Twitch will be the most common, but I'll see you somewhere. What about you?
And you can find me just about everywhere on the interwebs. I have a website now, yay! So if you Google https://blackandculture.com, you will actually get taken to my website where you can find all of my links. But if you're just a regular social media casual person, you can definitely just go to any platform. It'll be Black in Culture. It's spelled just the way you see it online. Twitch, which hopefully I'll start streaming sometime this year. That's a goal. IG, Twitter, where I'm funny on Twitter. Y'all need to follow me on Twitter. That's your problem. You don't follow me on Twitter. Don't look away. YouTube and wherever else I'm on. I do a lot of stuff on the internet. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Peace.